Hello, my beautiful friends. As promised, this is part 2 of the Rune Stone video where I talk about what the runes mean. And we're going to be here for like 100 years if I don't keep it short. So to speed things along, I'm just going to randomly pull stones out of here and tell you what they mean. And I'm going to use my companion website that I posted with the other video, which I'll also post below, along with some resources if you really want to learn more. I recommend if you want to learn about the history of runestones, the Elder Futhark, and the alphabet, I definitely recommend Jackson's videos, Jackson Crawford's videos. You have to kind of get through the ego. He's got an ego, that dude. But his information is good, so we can look past it in our nerdy selves. We can look past that because the information is good, and he's spot on. Remember that the runestones were an alphabet, just like A, B, C, D. So they weren't created to be divination tools. They've been adapted as divination tools over the last 400 or 500 years. Dr. Crawford doesn't believe there's any inherent divination meaning to these stones, so keep that in mind if you watch his stuff, but it's definitely interesting. He's got great videos of Elder Futhark being used as an alphabet in different places, and they're all interesting. His videos are interesting. The other videos that I linked in the other video, which I'll link below too, Arith, I don't know how to say his name, but he does a super deep dive on each of the runes, and so that's really good information. It's spot on from the divination perspective. He too is very self-confident, so you have to kind of get through a little bit of that, but the information is good. And if there's a stone that resonates with you that you want to learn more about, I definitely recommend his videos. This is just meant to be sort of an just a very quick sort of introduction to what the runes are and how you would might read them, right, if you do different reads that exist. So I'm just going to do them randomly. You can do them in order. Fehu is always the first stone, and you could do them in order, but I thought it'd be more fun to just do them randomly as spirit directs. So here we go. What is our first stone? Our first stone is going to be this one. So there are two that look alike, right? And this stone, I just want to bring up the words so that you can hear the words as I'm going. Of course, I can't see the print with my glasses on. I wouldn't help you if I told you what the name of the stone was. I am so sorry. This is Manus. So this is the Manus stone, and it represents humanity, individuality, friendship, society, cooperation, and help. So, you get this stone a lot. If Spirit is thinking that you really want to be, in community, working with other people, maybe volunteering, or maybe you're in a community and you just really need to think about, giving or being part of something that's giving. This is the Humanity Stone. And remember that when you read stones, you read them together. So like if I pulled this on its own, right, and I did a one pull, that would mean something. But if I pull this in a three Norns, the Three Sisters pull, or if I pulled it in a Celtic cross, it would combine with the other stones in the reading. So that's Manus. Our next stone is Kinaz, which means torch. What does it say here? I know, this is going to be me looking up and scrolling with my old lady eyes. Represents torch, symbolizes vision, creativity, inspiration, improvement, and vitality. So that's a great stone to pull. And we have, I always think of this as outstretched hands. This is Algis. I always think of it as like, because it's the world tree. What does it say here? If only I could see. Represents elk. It symbolizes protection, defense, instinct, group effort, and guardianship. Right? And you can kind of see it's got like, it's got like the little horns, right? I always think of it as a tree, like the protection of a tree. But it is the elk. Okay, next we have I wish I could see. Oh, let's make this so much easier if I could actually see. So this is Ewaz, which looks like the Mana Stone. And because of my eyesight, sometimes I get them confused because the only difference is there's like an extra cross. But Ewaz represents a horse, and it symbolizes transportation, movement, progress, trust, and change. Similar to the Rado Stone, you know, but means like movement and transportation. Might be going on a journey. Let's see the next one. Next one in this that I pulled is the blank stone, which if you've watched my videos, I don't read the blank stone. That was added in the last, I don't know, 100 years or 50 years or so, as sort of like people read it as a universal, like this, whatever the reading is, it's universal. Like it's a pattern that happens throughout your life. It's not part of the Elder Futhark, just like, you know, we don't have a blank letter in the, you know, alphabet that we use. So, I keep it with the stones because it came with the stones, but I don't read it when it comes out. Next one is Thurzaz, and this is one of the menacing stones. Oh, my phone is just nonsensical. And then this is my face. You see my face. Leave me alone. And it represents a thorn. It symbolizes reaction, defense, conflict, catharsis, and regeneration. And it's one of the 3 menacing stones. Next we have the Dice Cup, which is Perthro. This is the one that we know the least about in the Elder Futhark. And some people think it means chance. Some people, it translates to Dice Cup, symbolizes fate, chance, mystery, destiny, and secrets. So, let's take a little Dice Cup. Alright, our next one is Anzus. Trying to get my hand to like shape her up. Anzus and Fehu look very similar. Anzus means the literal translation is estuary, symbolizes the mouth, communication, understanding, and inspiration. So sometimes that can mean like speak the truth or listen for the truth, right? Next one is I'm like not good at holding my phone and doing this. This is Jira. If you're a programmer, it reminds me of a programming symbol. And this represents year or cycle. Cycles, completion, changes, harvest, reaping rewards. So I don't read the blank stone because this stone already exists, which means cycle and you know, continuation. Okay, the next stone is Gibo, which means gift. Let's see where it is here. Balance, exchange, partnership, generosity, and relationships. This is my favorite stone. I just had a necklace made at the blacksmith with Gibo on it, because all of life is a gift. Next one is Wunjo, which means joy. And where are you, Wunjo? Symbolizes pleasure, comfort, harmony, prosperity, reward, and success. And the next one is, I picked out 2, so I'll keep them both out. This one comes out and looking different in different runestone collections. This is Dagus, which means, oh wait, this is Dagus. This might not be Dagus. This isn't Dagus. This is Ingus. This comes out looking different in different decks. Sometimes it's just a diamond, but this one is the double X, right? But it's the same stone. And it represents seed. It symbolizes goals, growth, change, common sense, and the hearth, or the home. So you might see that looking 2 different ways in decks. Then the next stone is Ewaz. And this often gets confused with Sewilo, because they look very similar. But it represents the yew tree. And it symbolizes balance, enlightenment, death, and the world tree. Sewilo looks very similar, but Sewilo looks more like an S. The Ewaz has more of a sharp angles. Okay, next we have, I'll pull out a bunch here. We have Hagelas, which is one of the menacing stones. That means chaos. And nature, wrath, being tested, overcoming obstacles. And then we have Tiwaz, which means leadership. Where is that? Dum-da-da-dum. Represents the god Tyr. It symbolizes masculinity, justice, leadership, logic, and battle. Then we have Athala, which means ancestors. Inheritance. It symbolizes ancestry, possessions, heritage, experience, and value. The little fish. I always think of that as like generations, like the fish, you know. And then we have Nothus, which I always say means not this. This is the third of the menacing stones. Where is it on here? Represents need, symbolizes restriction, conflict, willpower, endurance, and self-reliance. Then we have some of these I never see. I never see this one. Must not be in my cards. This is Eurus, which represents a bull. It symbolizes strength, tenacity, courage, untamed potential, and freedom. And what's interesting, Fehu, which is the stone before it, is tamed cattle. And that's important in the Celtic tradition, because if you are able to tame cattle, that means you have some sort of skill and, like some sort of wealth of knowledge or wealth of something. And then Eurus is like untamed bull, like it's something that's not been tamed yet. Wild and free. Okay. This is Lagus, which means flow. Gotta find it here. Where are you? Where are you, Lagus? You're down at the bottom. Represents water. It symbolizes intuition, emotions, flow, renewal, dreams, hopes, and fears. And then we have Rado, which means travel. Actually, it translates to wagon wheel. Where is it on here? Symbolizes travel, rhythm, spontaneity, evolution, and decisions. And then we have Fehu, which represents livestock, symbolizing wealth, abundance, success, security, and fertility. Like you'd have to have money to domesticate cattle. Okay, and then we have Burkano, which means birth. Where are you on here, Burkano? Where are you on here, Burkano? Where are you? There. It's also, Burkano and Burkana are the same thing. It just depends on your tradition. I call it Burkano. Represents a birch tree. It symbolizes femininity, fertility, healing, regeneration, and birth. Then we have Sawila, which means sun. And like I said, it looks a lot like the Iwaz stone. And this is symbolizes health, honor, resources, victory, wholeness, and cleansing. Good positive stone. Outweighs any negative stone in a reading. So if you read Sawilo and you're in a reading with Hagelas, the Sawilo overpowers the Hagelas. We have Isa, which means ice. And is that 11? Number 11. Symbolizes clarity, stasis, challenges, introspection, watching, and waiting. It's energy I'm certainly in right now. And then lastly, we have the Dagger stone, which means dawn. And that means awakening, certainty, illumination, completion, and hope. So there you have it. Those are the 24 runestones. What I'm going to do right now is I am actually going to bless them, and then I'm going to do a reading for you. So I will be right back. So, some other things I wanted to point out, because I didn't want to forget to say any of this stuff. The runes are actually organized into 3 different sets, and they have like a mother stone that kind of leads them. And the mother stones, it's called the Ayet. So, Aetir is what it's all, like, that's the plural, and the Ayet is the singular, which means families, right? So there's families of stones, and there's 3 sets. And the first set is Fehu, which is that first group, and then the second set is led by Hagelas, and then the third set is led by Tiwaz. So I don't really go into all that stuff, but it's just important to know that there are like 3 families of stones within the 24 stones, 25 if you include the blank stone. So, just to know that. It doesn't actually mean anything to me when I'm reading, so I don't think about it. But, just a fun fact for you. So I have used cleansing spray on my stones. I am going to put them all back into their little bag where they live. And then we'll ask Spirit to give us a message for today. Shall we? We'll just do a 1 pull and see which rune Spirit wants us to think about and focus on today. I'm smooching them all around because they've all been sprayed with cleansing spray. Clear their energy. So one rune from Spirit for today. See if you can guess what it means now that you know what they are. And you seem to want to come out. Athala. So who remembers what Athala means? It means inheritance. It's ancestors, thinking about how things get passed down. You might be dealing with family today, which I am. An inheritance of people who have gone past. One of my favorite meditations to do is to think about my ancient ancestors. And I've done this before, but in case you haven't seen that video and you want to do it, get into your meditation space. I do not do the Om stuff. I'm not that great. Not that I'm not that crunchy granola, but I just do my own thing. I just sit. That's what I do. I sit, and then I just sort of get myself in my space. I do deep breathing, and then when I'm in my space, I imagine behind me my mother and father, and then I imagine behind each of them their mothers and fathers, and then I keep going back, and I pick a line to go down. So I pick like my mother's line, so it'll be my mother, and then her parents, my grandma and pop, and then I go down my grandma's line, and I pick her people, and I do her mother and father, and I go back, and I just think about the people who've made me into me. And then as I'm like sort of meditating, at some point I will turn around in my mind to face the sea of people. And that really helps me to connect with my ancestors. It's a really powerful meditation, and I'm not good at meditating. Like I'm getting better at visualizing in my meditations, but I'm not stellar at it, but I get better, and things like that are concrete really, really help me. My favorite one to do for sort of entering the other world is I had done this workshop, and I never I was always like, well, how do you get there? Is there like a tram car that takes you there? Like, how do you get to this other world? I get this card all the time from Spirit. How do I get there? And so the visualization I have there is that there's like there's a, not a sewer hole, but you know what I mean, like a tube down, and then I climb down this ladder, and there's really pretty candles and lanterns on it, and I climb down this ladder, and then I land on a beach, and that beach is like the land of my ancestors in the other world, and then I can either go into the forest, or I go from there, but I always land on the shores of this water, which, I don't know, that helps me visualize it and gets me into that space. Maybe it'll help you. I don't know. I'd love to know your tricks, and if you have any good meditations. So, Athala, Ancestry. Let's see, do I feel called to read cards? Not really, but this one's peeking out, so maybe I'm supposed to read Earth Wisdom. So we'll read Earth Wisdom, and we'll get a card just to clarify the Athala stone, and see if If Spirit wants to say anything else, well, Spirit has us here. Do you hear my cat meowing? Hello, Dash. Meow. Dash has come to say hello. Dash is a cat that when I opened my door, just walked right in and went to the food bowl. He doesn't get along with my other cats, though, so he spends time in my office in the guest room because I have to separate them. Alright, 3 passes from Spirit. Spirit, please let us know if there's anything else we need to go with the Othala Stone. Pass 2. Self-acceptance. That's what came out. You know, accepting who you are, accepting who your ancestors are. You know, DNA makes a lot of things come to light that people didn't want to come to light. So, you may have other ancestors you didn't know about. That certainly was the case for me. So, you know, explore all of your, and I think if you've watched the channel, you know that I'm going to be exploring part of my heritage I knew nothing about. And I'm going to be learning more about that as the new year comes, as the new year unfolds, and, you know, trying to embrace some of that legacy and ancestral history. So I think it's a reminder from Spirit not to forget to do that, because I'm very tied to my Celtic background, but there's more to me than that. So I need to learn more about all those things too. So I am wishing you all the best in light and love. I hope this was helpful. Tell me what your favorite stone is in the comments below. Like, what I resonate with, Gibo is my favorite. I like Sowilo. I like the positive stones, the light and love stones. You know, I always cringe when Hagelas or Isa or Thurzaz pop out. I'm like, oh. But that stuff is part of life, right? So you can't have Sowilo unless you have a Hagelas, right? So which stones are your favorite? Put that below, and I'm gonna put a whole bunch of resources in the comments section in case you want to learn more about Rune Stone divination. Be well, take care, all the best, and light and love. Bye bye.